Alright, so non-right angled triangles. So we're using the sine rule. What we're talking about now is, before we did Pythagoras' theorem, we did the sine, cos and tan with right angled triangles, always. Now we're changing it around and we're doing it when they're not right angled. So when they look something like this, they're not the regular, easy kind of looking triangles. So before, when we did the sine rule, in right angled triangles, we used SOHCAHTOA. The sine was equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. We're not dealing with that anymore. We're completely changing it up. We're saying that now when we have a triangle that's not right angled, all three sides become important. Where each angle is going to be different and each side is going to be different. Now what you need to know is each angle is directly opposite the side that corresponds to it. So angle A is opposite side A. You need to be careful to make sure that you remember that those kinds of things are happening now. Before, it was the angle that was opposite the opposite side and adjacent was beside it. That's no longer the case. We're not interested in that anymore. We're about making sure that the angle is directly opposite the side that corresponds to it.
So my whole life I learned that.
No, you've learned that because you needed it for right angle triangles. Now we're looking at what happens when they're not right angle triangles. Okay? So there's the two different situations there now. So you need to be aware that A, B, and C in capitals refer to angles. And the side lengths A, B, and C are in little letters. Okay? So don't forget those. So the formula that we actually now use is A over the sine of A is equal to B over the sine of B, which is also equal to C over the sine of C. So these fractions, these three fractions actually end up equaling exactly the same number. This fraction here will equal this fraction here, which will equal this fraction here.
What that equals?
So why is it
plus together? So is it a number that equals?
No. The three angles will add up to 180,
Oh, I see.
and that's it. Whereas in this formula, there is no particular number that they'll add up to. It depends on the ratio of the sides and the angles combined. Okay? Now, be careful. You must remember that the sine rule requires two sides, two angles. You don't use all three rules together at the one time. You'll just take two of them. So you might use A over the sine of A with C over the sine of C. Okay? You may not use the B over sine of B. And that's okay. You only need to use two parts of that rule for it to work. So two sides, two angles. That's the sine rule for non-right angle triangles. So from the textbook, in a triangle ABC, little c, which is what? Is that a side or an angle? A side, is equal to 17.35. Little a, which is a side again, is 26.82. And A, which is the angle, is 101 degrees and 47 minutes. Now I'll show you how to do that on your calculator as well. So find big C, big B, so find those two angles and find little b, which is a side. So, do you know what this looks like as a triangle?
Yes.
Like
Can you
that.
draw it? Shall we draw it?
We shall.
So here is our triangle. Something like this, not to scale. We've got an A B, and a C. So the side A is directly opposite the angle A. Side B is directly opposite B. And the side of C is directly opposite C. So now you fill in. So the angles are directly opposite the side. It doesn't have to match that. The order doesn't matter that you put them in, as long as the angles match the sides that are directly opposite.
So say A's there. But you could have put it like that.
I could have if I wanted to, it wouldn't make any difference. So, we know that side C is 17.35. 17.35 for C. We know that A is 26.82. So down here I have 26.82. And I know the angle A here is 101 degrees and 47 minutes. Now, we've got C, B, and B to find. So let's start with C. Go for the first one. Let's find this angle here. Do you have all the information that you need to find what the angle C would be? Yes, because you've got the side C and you know everything for A. So you write up your formula. We're going to use A's and C's. So it's A over the sine of A is equal to C over the sine of C. Fill it in. That's an A, not a 9. A is 26.82 over the sine of 101 degrees 47 minutes is equal to C, which is side C, so it's 17.35 divided by the sine of C, which is the side that we don't know, that we want to find. Is that okay so far? So rather than putting in X's and Y's and W's, I'll just leave it with the letters. Alright, can you solve that? How? What would you do?
Do you like do this first one, so 26.82 divided by sine, 101 degrees and 47.
Yep, so we'll work this bit out first, and you want to do? Alright, now, to do degrees and minutes in your calculator, as a reminder, when you do it on your calculator, this is what I want you to do. Put in all the information. So we're looking at 26.82 divided by the sine. Now, when you go to put your angle in, follow these steps. Go interactive at the top of your calculator, interactive. Then transformation. And then on your version of your calculator, you will have DMS. It's a little d, little m, little s. And it should come up with a little text box with 3 lines for you to fill in that says degrees, minutes, and seconds. So enter in the degrees and enter in the minutes. Your degrees are 101, and your minutes are 47. If there's no seconds, you don't have to fill them in.
Invalid syntax. I have invalid.
Okay. So is that okay? Yep, I will write it down for you as well. So then you should come out with the answer of 27.397. So interactive. So 4 degrees, minutes, and seconds on your calculator. And that's for the class pad. You go from the main, you go interactive, and you go to the DMS, and then fill in those again. So that's your reminder for the calculator steps. So we've done that, and we've now come out with, what's it? That's the calculator step for this part here to deal with the degree. Then I'll come and look at yours. I think you've missed a step. So I've put into my calculator this fraction. I've written it in as a fraction, or you can write it as a division. Same. Sine and of the degrees. I use this step to put in the degrees here. Now, I end up with 27.397 17.397, we'll go for 4 decimal places, is equal to 17.35 over the sine of C. Now what do I do? What's my next step?
Wait, how come we did 4 decimal places instead of 2?
Just so I can be a bit more accurate, only for the workings out. My final answer, I'll finish off in 2 decimal places because that's what the question's given me. So what's my next step? I want to get C by itself. What do I need to do? Times by? No. We want to get this C out from the bottom of the fraction. That's what's causing the problem. So we'll do the long method of getting the C by itself. Times that by the sine of C. And do the same to this side. You've got to be fair. What you do to one side, do to the other side. So the division of that and the multiplication of it cancel out. And you'll end up with 17.35 is actually equal to the sine of C times 27.3973. Now, how do I get the sine of C by itself? What's the next step? If I'm multiplying, what do I do? Sorry? Divide. So I divide here by the 27.3973. They'll cancel out and we end up with sine C is equal to 17.35 over 27.3973. What we could have done is we could have directly swapped these two over and done the cross multiplication there to get the sine by itself.
So is it always going to be like that?
It will always, when it's on the bottom. So then, now I have sine C is equal to this beautiful fraction here with decimals in it. What do I do to get that C by itself now?
Not divide.
Not division. No, we don't have to work this out yet. We can do this in a minute. What do we need to do? Sorry? Inverse sine? We use arcing methods, not in general. Use the inverse. C is equal to the inverse sine of 17.35 over 27.3973. That is a 3 there. Find the inverse of that, and what do you get? What do you get? Come on, you've got your trusty calculators. Sine on the calculator is under sine, cheeky people. Sine. I'm going to start doing attention.
I can't find it.
It's under math, keyboard, math, tree.
Found it.
So, remembering, the sine, cos and tan and the inverse of those are under the keypad, keyboard, maths, and then trig. So the inverse sine of 17.35. So making sure that your calculator is in degrees, you end up with C is equal to 39.29 degrees.
How do you get the degrees?
What, how do you
We're doing an angle. When we're working on angles, our answer is going to end up with degrees.
On the calculator. How do you find it to degrees? Or do you just take the degrees?
It's automatically degrees. When you take the inverse, when you're taking the inverse of something, our C here is an angle. So our angle is going to be equal to the inverse sine of all that. Automatically, angles are measured in degrees.
So you don't. So whatever answer it comes up, you just put it into degrees.
Yes.
I
Then
don't get it. How do you do it in degrees?
it automatically becomes degrees.
Why did mine say 43?
I will come and have a look at your calculations in a moment. So then, our question here is in degrees and minutes. So our answer needs to be in degrees and minutes. So you need to now change that to degrees and minutes. So this is what I want you to do. On your calculators again. Main, advanced, oh sorry, not advanced, action, skipped one. Main, action, then you'll go to transformation, and then you'll select the option that says to DMS. And it'll be written in that way. Little word to, then DMS in capital
What's
letters.
this to find? The degrees of minutes.
Degrees, minutes and seconds.
So to change it
To change it to degrees, minutes and seconds. So what you'll do is you'll actually drag over your solution. Execute it, and you should come out with that C is now equal to 39 degrees, 17 minutes, and 31 seconds.
Would they
Sorry?
Use the books differently.
What's a little
They
four
cross,
on top?
they cross multiply over there.
Yeah.
No, first step.
There, they did it straight away?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I just chose not to do that.
Okay, so it's a little four.
It's not 4, they're seconds, they're 2 commas.
Ah, I got. Okay.
No, you did.
Yeah, I did, but it says 41 instead of 31.
It's 24. Are you confused?
I will come and have a. Don't call it that, it's your best friend, I told you this. Alright, so that's how you go through to find an unknown angle. I'll rub off the first panel and we'll quickly do it for B
So this was
and
finding
B. We just found one angle there, okay? But you're going to love how we find the letter B, capital B.
No.
You're going to absolutely love it. And I'm not lying.
So this is all to find C.
That was just a fine scene. Look, it's the first time we've done it, so it's going to take longer. Remember
So
that.
it's 3 hours to do it.
No, it's not going to take you 3 hours to do a question. We don't have 3 hours, so that's not possible. So, now you want to find angle B. Okay? Our triangle again. So, C, A, B, C, A, B. I'm just choosing to rewrite it here so I can put all the information back in. We have that C here. Now, our angle here is 39 degrees, 17 minutes and 31 seconds. Our question gave us degrees and minutes. So I want to simplify this so that it only has degrees and minutes. I don't want the seconds. But that requires us to round. We can't just get rid of it. Now, what's the halfway point?
30 seconds.
Thank you, Therese. Well done. At 30 seconds. If we have 30 seconds or more, we add 1 to the minute. Because we're going to round the minutes up or remove the seconds depending on how many numbers we have afterwards.
So it becomes 18.
So this becomes 39 degrees, 18 minutes. And that's the degree we're going to use.
So you don't put seconds.
No, we don't want seconds. Seconds sometimes make it a bit more difficult. So we've got 39 degrees, 18 minutes. We have an angle here that's 101 degrees and 47 minutes. This B, we don't know. We've got to find it out. We know that A here is 26.82. We know that C here is 17.35. Now, we're going to focus on finding this angle B. Can you find very quickly and very easily what B is going to be in this triangle? Big B, the angle B. What?
17.35 and 26.8.
No, they're the side measurements.
Are there the two angles?
So you can use these two angles on the inside. What do you know about triangles? What's the main thing about triangles? And their angles.
180 degrees.
They add up to 180 degrees. So you need to remember that angle A plus B plus C all equal to 180 degrees. You know what A is, and you know what C is.
So you just take it out or take it away?
We can just take them away from 180 to find out what B is. So B is going to be equal to 180. Take away whatever angle A is. So the 101 degrees, 47 minutes. And we can also take away what angle C is. 39 degrees, 18 minutes.
How do you do that on the calculator?
So, you've got your DMS button now that I've shown you today. You can use that. All you need to do is straight type into your calculator. 180, take away. Forget the degrees, the minutes, and the seconds part. Your calculator will understand that you're referring to degrees. It's safe. So, straight into your calculator. 180, take away. How do we do it here? When we want to do degrees, minutes, and seconds on the calculator, main, interactive, DMS. Use those same options again. Shh. Don't call it names or else it will give you wrong answers. Okay, interactive, transformation, DMS. Put in what it is. 101 degrees, 47 minutes. Okay.
You get 70.
So it worked it out for you automatically. 78 point.
216.
Yep.
Yeah.
Take away again, because it only did this bit. Now we still have to take away this one. So do the same process again. From that answer, take away, interactive, transformation, DMS, and type in the degrees again. 39 degrees, 18 minutes. Okay. And you end up with, what's your answer?
38.9.
38.916667. Now, the whole time we've been working in what? Degrees, minutes. So our answer here is only in degrees.
So you do that.
So do this step
The
here.
action.
Action transformation to DMS. So, action transformation to DMS. Copy and paste your answer. Execute, and what do you get?
Um, 38
Degrees.
degrees, 55 minutes.
55 minutes, and there's 0 seconds there. So you leave that. It will say 0.00012 seconds.
One says 1, and then 2 is minus 5.
When it says to the power of -5, that means that the decimal point is forward in front of it 5 places. Okay, so that means it's still a very tiny number. Alright, so now you found B.
That's it.
No, we found C. We found B. Now we've got this little B to work out. But do you know how much easier it is to find little b now? No, I'm not rubbing any of it off. It's all staying on there now. You're going to love how easy little b is. We're going to find little b. We know that this angle here now, we've got that. It is now 38 degrees, 55 minutes. I've got an angle for B. I can find a side for B. I was given angles for C and sides for C. I was given angles for A and sides of A. So all I need to do is make a decision about which ones I'm going to use. I'm going to use A's because A's were given to me originally in my question. You want to try and use the information you were given in your questions, because if you've made a mistake in your answer for C and you go to use it to find the answer for little b, you could possibly be carrying through a big mistake. So you want to go back to what you were originally given. Is that fair enough? Yeah? Alright, so we're going to use A over the sine of A is equal to B over the sine of B. Fill it in with your information. And you come out with A was 26.82 divided by the sine of 101 degrees 47 minutes, which is equal to B over the sine of B now is 38 degrees 55 minutes. What can I do to get the B by itself?
What you did there.
Times it. The B's on top. The B's being divided by something. That's the thing we're looking for. So because we're looking for the B and it's on top, we could just multiply it by the sine of 38 degrees and 55 minutes. And that will give us the B by itself. So we end up now with B is equal to, this is going to be multiplied to this side. Sine of 38 degrees 55 minutes times by 26.82 over the sine of 101 degrees and 47 minutes. One line in your calculator. Finding the side measurements are quicker and far more easier than finding the angles, because there's less thought process, because there's no switching that has to happen. So now you do that, and what do you get? So remember, when you're going to do your angles here, you're going to use this process here with the interactive and the DMS button.
How do you do that? So you just do the DMS 38.5, step 55.
Yeah. And what do you come out with as your answer? Has anyone gotten that far yet? B should come out as 17.2107453. So 2 decimal places.
I think you know. I don't.
17.21.
So wait, how do you do this? Where do you put the C?
Sine. So sine of that angle.
So you do sine and then the transformation.
Yep. So you go sine main interactive DMS. Put in the angle. Put in the minutes. Execute it. Then multiply it by the division that happens here. And that's it. You're done. That's it. See how you go with it at home, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.